YouTube, this is the top 16 every single week by watching as long as you can, commenting, subscribing, and liking. That greatly supports the video so that we can keep on doing these. The top 8 and grand finale will be in a separate video. With that said, Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Huh? We passed our turn 1? Well, that's how we do. We didn't even want to set Droplet. We have Nibiru plus Impermanence and Drone Lockbird. That's generally going to be good enough. Sure, let's go. We're going to use Wanted within the draw phase, thus the Drone Lockbird is not activatable within the draw phase. As we now send a card from our hands to the grave to summon our Diablo Star Black Witch. Black Witch on summon is going to be setting up an original Sinful Spoils into the back row. Normal summoning our Drone Lockbird so that we can send it to the grave with the original Sinful to then summon a level 1 fire from the deck. First drawing a card with the Wanted as we now summon an Ash from the deck. Do we Imperm Ash? A lot of people say you should because it not only stops the first effect of adding, it stops the second effect of summoning an Oak from the deck. So double negate, straight to the battle phase we go. Nibiru is not going to be activatable this turn. We need 5 summons to play around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on 4 summons. The 5th summon, Nibiru comes. Nibiru is not coming. All right, so what do we have here? We just have a Finger in the back row and Valor in the hand. We're too teched out. We got too many techs. No engine, all techs. Okay, we're gonna keep on trying to penetrate this field as we use the Called By onto a Valor. Okay, to then send the Called By and the Drone Lockbird to negate the Diablo Star in the field. We're double negating. We're reducing their attack also. So that's important to note that they did have lethal, double 25, 5K for game. That is something. Original Sinful sending the Jet Synchron with no card in the hand to discard to reborn it. We're going to be adding a Poplar, which can special summon itself onto the field, which will then search for a card that could be discarded for the Jet Synchron or be used. We have the Divine Temple setting up a Flame Burge into the back row, boosting up our field of level 1 fire monsters, thus giving us lethal damage right through the Droplet. We couldn't stop it. Nibiru, Droll, Droplet, Called By, Imperm, and we still lost. We are playing around Droll again in the draw phase, add to our hand, but this time Fictinium's got some actual core key cards in our deck to make plays with. We're gonna activate Droll in response to adding the Poplar. Poplar still special summoning, but will not be searching our deck, and that's where our disruption ends. Can the deck still cook under Droll? Of course it can. This is all under Droll and Lockbird, by the way, which is supposed to shut down a deck from cooking, and it looks like we fully cooked. Formula Synchron could go into a Baron to floor, and it can't be targeted while doing so. Borreload will Omni negate. We're going to then be able to summon the Masquerena from the back row, then make something like a Goddess or an Apollo USA. We got the plays. Let's go. We have Wanted Seeker. So we could use Crossout Designate to negate Flame Burge by banishing our own Flame Burge, which also turns off our own Flame Burge. Is that what we're going to be doing? Not activating the Flame Burge, playing around in Impermanence. And we got Diablo Star, so we can activate the Flame Burge safely without getting impermed. We are Crossout Designating. Is Borreload going to negate? Yes, it is. Negate the Crossout Designate. Also, chain Formula Synchron to synchro into a Baron de floor. With the Flame Burst, triggering Flame Burst to reborn 2 level 1 fires from the grave. Not only was the effect of Masquerena being summoned about to be negated, but also the effect of summoning 2 level 1 fires also would have been negated. So we now have the Masquerena activatable to go into an Apollo USA or a Goddess. We have Baron de floor with the Omni negate. Now the Flame Burst triggering to reborn an Oak and an Ash. Oak is going to be adding the banished Jet Synchron back to our hand. We're also going to link Karibo. Holy moly. Look at this play. Look at this play. Just as we were saying in the video, making the lower chain link Karibo, then the higher one Masquerina, then the higher one Sprite Elf. Think of it like a stack. So Link Karibo, Masquerina, Sprite Elf, then unstack it. Elf is going to summon. Masquerina is going to link with the full field, and then now there's going to be room to summon the Link Karibo from the graveyard onto the field, protecting the Apollo USA from being attacked into. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, visually in game, it looks like, it's stacking the other way, but I like thinking of it like stacking from the bottom to the top and then unstack it. Look at that. Look at that. We don't have room for the Link Karibo unless the Masquerina resolves, which we properly did in this order, which the Apollo USA is untargetable. It has 4 monster negates, and you cannot attack into it due to the Link Karibo setting your monster to 0 attack. And also, we didn't add the Jet Synchron. We had room to summon it onto the field. And we saw Promethean. We have Promethean on special summon, pop a card. Why are more people not playing Sprite Elf? What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh, full fields. And we're gonna toss an Ash on top of that, trying to stop the Poplar from searching, and we don't care to negate that. We have 4 negates on Apollo USA, and we still did not negate. We can't even target the Apollo USA with the Subversion. We could have negated that with Baron to 4, but we didn't even choose to negate. We are passing on negates. We do not want to negate small effects. Hida could reborn from our graveyard. I think this could be a good use of our Apollo USA, or even better, Promethean Princess, pop it on summon. Now the Hida will activate in the graveyard, which could get negated by the Apollo USA. Insanity. We did it through Droll and Lockbird. The best turn 1 play you could possibly have with the deck. 1 Ash and full of text. Add the Poplar trigger, special summon, will speed this up. Search our deck for the field spell, set up a Flame Burst into the back row. All right, so what do we have here? Draw phase, activate, summon the Masquerina. If we had an Impermanence, we would be countering this. If we had a Sprite Elf, we could have countered the counter, but that's okay. We have a ton of hand traps in addition to our main play here. And just think about, it's just wild to think that a single Ash, this one little card, this tiny little level 1, made this robust field. What the hell? And then we have all of our other cards that we just drew initially that we didn't even have to discard. Like, how is this balanced? You have Ash, I have Ash, we both have Ash. We have Imperm for the Ash, stopping both effects here. We have Wanted Seeker being chained to add a Diablo Star from the deck to the hand. Come to us. That's what I really like about Rescue Ace with Emergency, is that when they use Ash, you could then chain, summon from the deck, then send them onto the field to the grave to dodge cards like Impermanence. We're now under Droll and Lockbird. We cannot add cards from the deck to our hand. So we stopped him from adding Poplar, and now we made it so you can't add any other cards. We're going to chain Veiler to the Diablo Star in response to the Promethean Princess popping the Ash. Was this a good use of Promethean Princess? The Ash was already negated from the Impermanence, so it did not have the additional effect to summon an Oak from the deck anyway. Okay. Maybe we're just preempting, and here's an issue though. If you summon Promethean before Masquerina, you're kind of stuck. Your Masquerina sucks now. Why does she suck? She can only summon a fire monster from the extra deck. What's fire? You're not fire, you're not fire. What are we summoning, a Sprite Elf? A Hida? We could summon Elf or Hida. That's it, Elf or Hida. You can't make Apollo USA, we can't make Goddess. So we kind of outplayed ourselves here. We're gonna reborn our Jet Synchron, Oak send itself plus the Jet Synchron, summoning from the deck, making our Flame Burge. Now, we have to be careful about putting any cards into our back row because the opposing Flame Burge and even the field spell can take it. But they already used Flame Burge, they did not use the field spell yet. So we're gonna summon our Oak, summon our Jet Synchron. We're now Masquerinaing into our Sprite Elf, as I said. Sprite Elf off Masquerina since we were locked into fire only. Hida's gonna take your Promethean Princess. Come to me. And then we're gonna use her effect as if it was our own, reborning our Flame Burge from the grave. We're now gonna be linking up Promethean and Hida into another Promethean. Okay, now we have our own Promethean. Elf is gonna be reborning the Masquerina, which it is a hard once per turn, which the Formula Synchron is not a hard once per turn. If you Formula Synchron, you could do it again. We are going to be putting ourselves into the back row with the effect of the Poplar. Okay, so the Flame Burge on the turn, player's turn cannot use its effect. We are then summoning a Curry, Kara, Divine Incarnate, sending 3 monsters in the grave, triggering the field spell to summon from the back row, but at 6,000 attack, what can we accomplish here? We're going to push the opposing Ambler Whale into the back row as we then make a World Sea Dragon Zealantis, which will unfortunately reset the attack of our Curry Kara, but banishing the entire field in the process, which will then trigger our Promethean on the summon of a monster onto their field to summon Promethean to chain co-link with the Zealantis to give us the ability to pop multiple cards on the field. So summon the Masquerena, summon the Link Karibo, summon. So get ready for the Promethean. You do want to summon it with the Zealantis. And how much damage do we have in the field here? We have 8,200. They got 2 bodies. They don't got 2 bodies because we have co-link, pop 2 bodies. That's game. Ambler Whale also popping an additional card in the field because we popped a Link 3 or lower. Goodbye to the field spell. To battle we go. Wipe up the field. Lethal damage with Zealantis. Yes. So cool. That is such a cool way to win a duel. I love it. We have our normal summon Scareclaw, which is our main combo. So in response to that, we do want to Ash before they link it off. But we have the negates. Negate the Max C. And let's start linking. We do have Impermanence to stop the field spell search, which could be punished if we have another field spell in the hand, which we unfortunately do not. Thus, we're going to end with just a Twin Saw and Impermanence. Twin Saw could pop 2 cards in the field. When do we pop? When is the optimal poppage? 2 cards in the field is when we pop. Off the top of the deck, we have our Wanted Seeker within the draw phase being used here. Imperm on Ash is, I say, quite good. Quite optimal. Now, the Diablo Star discarding Poplar, equip into the back row, the Poplar plus set up an original Sinful Spoils. I think we want to pop the original Sinful before it activates. That would make sense to me. That's when we would be making the big play, yes? Set it up, and we will pop 2 from here. The Ash is fully negated, so it cannot summon an Oak from the deck. Now, we Twin Saw, as we've been saying. Tribute, take out Diablo Star, big 2,500, plus the original Sinful. Now, oh my gosh, the original Sinful has, you can only use both of the effect, only one of the among the 2 effects once per turn. So since we didn't activate it, we're using the other effect, which will search our deck for a level 1 fire. Grabbing Poplar, triggering Poplar. Oh my gosh. I thought we stopped you. We still kind of did because we can't summon an Oak from the deck, but damn. And then we have draw 1, returning the banished original Sinful. Wow. Was it even good to pop the original Sinful or what? Allowing them to use the second effect. That still triggers the Flame Burst even though the Ash is negated. Okay, let's go. Come forth from the grave, making Hita. Hita steal a fire monster from the opponent's graveyard, which is Ash. Thank you for your Ash. We're cooking. Twin Saw and Imperm, and we don't even care. We do have, it is turn 2, main phase 1. We can attack this turn. Twin Saw can be used even if your opponent has the Link 3. This states that if a Link 3 or higher is on either side of the field, banish this card, then for the rest of the turn, neither player can activate the effects of Link monsters on the field. So no Reborn. We can still link it off into an Ambler Whale for main phase 2, and then it will be activatable in the graveyard on the next turn. So we're still not in a bad position here. Okay, let's go. So the Promethean on special summon will get poppin', and that's public knowledge. We know all about that. Sending a Water Enchantress from the deck to the grave, grabbing the Rite of Air's Mirror, which I think would be a good use of our Promethean to pop the token on summon. I think so. Yes? Yes. Promethean Princess taking out the token, plus triggering the field spell to Reborn a pop-off from the back row, which will also activate to search our deck for a follow-up play. All right? Dump her. Oh my gosh, what happened? Hold on, Gia, we have to interrupt the tournament real quick. This says, at Decade, my girlfriend told me to stop saying Hajime every time before we have sex. What do I do? I'm going to concur with the other advice you've been receiving. Dump her. Back to Fortnite she goes. Poplar on summon, grabbing that follow-up play. And the Ambler Whale also reborning the Hita from the grave. Now, Zodiac, 1 card normal summon, can Zeus the fields. We got that 1 card play. Let's do it. Yup. Draco back's not going to be so good here. We're searching for the Griffin, which we could discard the Draco back. But this is going to be our 1 card Zeus play into our Drident. Drident into Tiger Mortar. We want to make her nice and thick. Into the Borbo, direct attack. I feel like I haven't seen Zeus for a while here. Piercing battle damage. This was very smart of Alzam. Instead of attacking directly to then wipe the... Oh boy, was it smart? Because now that triggers the Flame Burst. I feel like we out big brained ourselves here. We are smart enough to not want the Poplar to trigger after the Zeus, but then it triggering before the Zeus now gets to trigger off of the Zeus, but we could wipe the field twice, right? Double Zeus or material, but then we don't have Zeus for the next turn. Wipe the field once, triggering the Flame Burst to summon up to 2 from the grave, which triggers a search with the Ash. Grabbing a Divine Incarnate to be used next turn. We're not going to be wiping up again. We're going to wait. And once we wipe the field, we now know that the Divine Incarnate's going to eat up our Zeus. Linkuriboh sending the Poplar, trigger the Poplar, put into the back row our Flame Burge. Ash sending itself, plus the Linkuriboh to summon from the deck a Flame Burge, not an Oak. Where's the Oak at? Flame Burge pushing the Zeus in the back row, forcing the activation, wiping out the entire field in the process. Now, it will still go into the back row, meaning the Divine Incarnate's not going to be activatable, but we have the activation of the Flame Burge. Ash already activated. Well, no, it did not actually. That was the other effect that activated. So now we have the newly summoned Ash searching our deck for that much-needed Oak. With an open normal summon, we have it summonable. And we are discarding the original to summon the Diablo Star. Against 3,400 life, we already have lethal damage, but the Griffin Rider could block an attack for game. So as long as we could game through Griffin Rider, what is the weight? 2,800 defense, only summonable in the main phase, triggering the Promethean Princess, wiping out the Griffin, and just like that, we have lethal damage for game 1. Very nicely done. I'm still trying to figure out what their deck is. Zodiac deck. Is it really a pure Zodiac deck? We're starting off with the Scareclaw field spell, which is far from optimal. We do want to have a Scareclaw normal summon, make the Lightheart search the field spell, then search for a right card here. But instead, we're going to be fingering the Ash, attempting to negate the field spell as we grab from our deck a right card. Now, right card could search for the Twin Saw if we already have a rival. Rival's activatable more than once. Oh, we just banished it. We waited with the Max C because we didn't want to get gammaed. Sure. Grab the Twin Saw under the Max C. Let's make a Baron de Floor. Why not? Let's go. Twin Saw, tribute to Scareclaw, pop 2 cards in the field, and then if the opponent summons a Link 3, we could turn off Link monsters for the rest of the turn. Grabbing our Diablo Star in the draw phase, discarding Diablo Star to summon Diablo Star. I don't know if you agree or disagree with this, but I feel like Diablo Star is good game design. She technically, to use her effect, you have to send a card to the graveyard. I feel like more cards need that condition. For example, Ash being a 1-card combo that doesn't have to discard a card to activate, I feel like that would make the game much more balanced. Any 1-card combo should require you to initially minus to activate it. So when the opponent chains a hand trap, let's say you Ash and Ash, they lost a card from the hand and they have a negated Ash. I feel like that's an even exchange. That's a good one. They essentially -1 for you using Ash on their card. So I want to see more things like Diablo Star. Now, what sucks about Diablo Star is she's just fire support pretty much. So more decks having cards like Diablo Star I think would be good. But Ash is what I would say is bad card design. Full 1-card combo and doesn't minus. Only plus. It should initially minus, so when you disrupt, they committed to a risk. We have Poplar re-equipping itself into the back row. We have Divine Incarnate to not only send Baron to floor, but we're taking control of it during the end phase. That Baron to floor is ours. A boosted up Jet Synchron up to 1,600. Also, the Divine Incarnate being boosted by the field spell. Come to me, Baron to floor. Yoink. Oh my gosh. We now got our very own Omni Negate. So no cards in the hand, nothing really on the field. Whatever we draw gets negated by Baron to floor, and that we're just past the turn. That's it. It's over. And unfortunately, that is a 2-0 victory. Damn. Begin. Huh? Well, we just have Duel and Nibiru. Okay. Pot of Duality locking us out of being able to special summon for the entire turn. The turn it was activated, but we don't care. We're grabbing an Ariana. Ariana, in response to that, we have Duel and Lockbird, so the Ariana cannot add any card from the deck to the hand. Thus, we're not going to even summon her. Now, by activating the Lord of Heavenly Prison, our back row cards cannot be destroyed while set. Special summoning within the draw phase, Our Lady Labyrinth. Now, the Welcome Labyrinth is a hard once per turn. We cannot activate another one. And we did not trigger summon the Lord of Heavenly Prison, but we probably will right here, right now, as the trap trick is being chained to by the lady to set a new trap from the deck. That new trap is not activatable, but the trap trick trap will be activatable, and we could still wait on the Lord of Heavenly Prison, which we're now going to be summoning a lovely from the deck, return back the lady, trigger the lovely, pop a card in the fields, non-target pop. You don't know until the resolution if they're popping a card on the field or in the hand. Summoning the lady. Wait, we didn't summon Lord of Heavenly Prison? We're just holding on that? All right. That was enough to scoop. Damn, just like that. Trap Trick and Welcome Labyrinth. Lovely pop a card, just like that. Now, Solemn Strike, this may be weird to say this, but I actually think it's a pretty good turn 2 card. Think if they have a card like Baron to Floor, you set Solemn Strike as turn 2. On turn 3, your strike is going to negate and destroy that Baron to Floor. So it is pretty decent going second. So our public disruptions are pop a back row or a monster plus negate. Are we negating the Ariana with a Veiler instead of the Wandering Griffin, which Wandering Griffin can be recycled back in the deck then back into our hand with our Fateful Adventure? We got to be very careful with the Griffin and DPE against the Gozen match. The problem with these cards is that Solemn Strike being a spell speed 3, it's too fast to be responded to by cards like Wandering Griffin, so it actually cannot be negated. What? How did we do that? 5 back row set, 20% chance to hit the Solemn Strike. I guess 40% to hit Strike or Gozen, which we really wanted to hit. Gozen or Solemn Strike were big ones there. Okay, damn. We would have been able to on-summon a DPE, Torrential, and then they would negate, then we would chain Solemn Strike, and then it would wipe up the field. Now, there's an interesting ruling with Torrential versus DPE. You need to toggle on so that when your DPE is summoned and on its summon in response to its summon as the turn player, you can activate your DPE before the Torrential Tribute. Otherwise, in the scenario I described, you would not even be able to activate the DPE if you don't make use of your turn player priority. Draw phase, big welcome before the DPE is summoned. Ash is going to negate, which the Solemn Strike would have negated the negate. Dogmatic Punishment going to attempt to take out the token. Wandering Griffin recycling itself back into the deck. We're going to activate Gozen Match, forcing the token off of the field now. And then I guess DPE is going to lock us into Dark Monsters only. But DPE could deal with Gozen Match. So I feel like Labyrinth outplayed itself. This is not so good. We're still in the draw phase here. Draw a card off of a monster leaving the field from a trap. Standby phase, DPE. All right, that Gozen is nothing. We can pop it whenever we want. And being locked into Dark Monsters only, we could simply just cook under the Gozen. And we don't really have a good timing to use the Torrential. Torrential is going to be important to be used on a... Okay, so it was good there. We could have kind of messed this up a little bit. By activating the DPE in an open game state and not in response to your own summon, they could not chain Torrential Tribute. So very good. Then we're going to be making our Snake randomly discard, summon itself on the field, plus draw. The Scales could discard a card to then send a Phantom Knight card from the deck to the grave. We're going to be exceeding into our Breaksword. Breaksword, pop a card on the field by popping itself. Goodbye to the Daruma Cannon. Now, the Breaksword pop in itself activates to summon 2 monsters from the graveyard as level 4, as we link 3 this up into a Rusty. How's that work? How does what work? The open game state verse is in response to the summon. So what happened is you would need your toggle on for this. The toggle on is Konami poking your shoulder on every activation. Toggle auto is the Konami employee only bothering you when they think you would want to activate your cards. So with Toggle On, it would ask you on your Malicious, would you like to respond to the summon of your own Malicious? Which on Toggle Auto, it just won't do that. So it seemed like I described it like it was a big brain play, which I think just by having their Toggle On Auto, they didn't even think about it, that was the scenario where Torrential would have been chainable to the DPE. All right, let's go. Raiders Knight. We're still under Gozen. Like Gozen? Okay, where's Gozen? We summon a Dark Exceed to where the Rusty's pointing to, trigger its effect to pop a card in the field. Goodbye to the Gozen. Just like that, we're taking this into game 3. So what do we have here? I gotta read this card. I remember this card, but then I forgot it. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field. Only on the field. So negating Ash or Gamma is not gonna work. Negate the activation, destroy, then banish one monster from your hand. If you do, special summon the monster that was destroyed. Okay, interesting. Negate on field a monster to then steal it. We passed it. We got no plays. No plays. Back and forth. Turn 4. No plays. Back and forth. We're discarding in the end phase. We have too many cards in our hand. What is going on? At least we got Pot of Duality, which will maybe make us want to use our Droll. Will we Droll off of this? Probably not. Yeah, we didn't. We know the game state's too simplified to even bother using it. With the Labyrinth field spell and the Welcome Labyrinth, we could pop any card in the field non-target. Jackalope randomly discarding our dead Nibiru. Nibiru probably never activatable against Labyrinth. Now we're going to be whipping out that Welcome Labyrinth right here, right now. We can't use the Draco Utopian to negate the Maxi from the hand. Summoning our lady, popping the Ragged Gloves on the field on summon. As we said, the non-target pop is here. Ragged Gloves banishing itself to send from the deck a Greaves. We have Greaves banishing itself to summon from the hand a Boots. We're going to use the Dogmatica Punishment, chaining to the Dogmatica Punishment, not using Gamma. So what's interesting here is the lady can't be destroyed by Gamma, but it could still be negated. And the Gamma also is not activatable if you have a monster on the field, to be fair, to correction. But if it were activatable, would you even want to do it? You negate the activation, then destroy. So it would still negate, it would not destroy, but it's not activatable anyway. But just thinking about if we wanted to do that, if it were activatable. By sending an end to the Dogmatica Punishment, we'll then pop an additional card. Boots will be banishing, grabbing the Fog Blade or Shade. Shade is special summonable if we have no traps in the grave. Level 4. We now have our Malicious, summoning a Malicious from the deck. You do have Skill Drain. We're waiting to Skill Drain. And we're Daruma Cannoning the Dark to the graveyard during the end phase. If at least one monster in the field's flipped face down, your opponent has to send any card that's face up afterward to the grave. Ariana getting Gamma'd here. We cannot Draco Utopia negate. We do have Big Welcome for the follow-up play, though, with the field spell. We'll pop a card in the field, which will take out the Fog Blade, which we're going to chain to the Big Welcome. If possible, you want to chain link block the opponent's trap with another card in the field, but the Fog Blade was not activatable due to the lady being untargetable if there's a set card in the field. Goodbye to the back row with the field spell. Lady summon itself onto the field if a Labyrinth or a trap card was activated. Regular Welcome Labyrinth resetting itself onto the field to be activatable during the next turn. We don't need Skill Drain. We don't need it. It's a surprise. A surprise Skill Drain's coming soon. Probably not even. Nope, we don't care. Skill Drain would harm us more than the opponent because we keep on abusing and using the lady except right here because I think we're just going for lethal. Yeah, we're just like, you know what? I'm not going to play into another Gamma if you maybe have another Psyframe Driver in your... Wait, it is in the graveyard. So it actually would have been activatable had we chained the lady. So simple lethal, very well done. Good job to Sheriff. Let's hop into another match. One card Ash, Imperm against that one card Ash. It's so good, so good. Negate the add, negate the ability to summon a monster from the deck. Negate that Ash. Link it off into a Link Karibo, then end our turn. The best deck loses to Imperm, just like that. Ain't no way. Let's see the best play for heroes. Hero lives as long as we have no monster in the field. We could summon a Stratos from the deck. On summon, searching our deck for a Malicious. Droll and Lockbird, no more adding for the rest of the turn, except we're going to finger that Droll because we would very much like to keep on adding from our deck to our hand. Negate. Now, it's time to cook. Ferris with another hero in the hand, that's where the big plays start coming. Activate Ferris, discard Malicious, equip into the back row a Vision Hero increase, tribute the Ferris, summon itself to then activate and summon a Vine from the deck. Vine on summon, send a hero from the deck to the grave. Vine could then banish a monster from the grave to grab a Polymerization. We have activatable Malicious in the graveyard to summon a Malicious from the deck. We're gonna link off into a Cross Crusader, which must summon a Destiny hero to then tribute our hero to search our deck for any hero, grabbing a Liquid. We have not used up our normal summon yet. We could, if we want to, normal summon Liquid to then reborn Stratos to activate Stratos again. We have Infernal Devicer, which could search for an elemental hero, Neos. Normal summoning the Liquid to reborn the Stratos, as I said. Searching again for a Plasma. We're going to link up the Devicer and the Stratos into a Wonder Driver. If we summon to where it's pointing to, it recycles a card like Polymerization or Mass Change. Polymerizing Liquid and Neos into Infernal Rage. This is the new card. We're going to be tributing itself to special summon from our extra deck Elemental Hero Sunrise. We're going to be using the Sunrise to grab a Miracle Fusion. The Wonder Driver is going to be recycling the Polymerization from the graveyard to put it back into our back row. Now, it's like, why didn't we just summon the Sunrise? Well, the favorite contact is what we would search for if we didn't already have it in the hand. So that's where things got a little bit different here. Malicious, banished to summon a Malicious. Polymerization for the second time, which was recycled off of the Wonder Driver, making a properly summoned DPE, not with Fusion Destiny. Banishing from the graveyard for Miracle Fusion to come forth and summon Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. At 3,500 attack, reducing the Wonder Driver to 0 on that attack. And we have over 9,300 damage on the field. On top of that, a Mass Change for even more damage. Imperm the Ash. If you're not playing Impermanence, get it. There is a bundle for it, I think. Get the bundle. It would be 750 gems. Craft the others. You need it to beat Snake Eyes. Is this it's a different duel. We have Imperm for the Ash again. Okay. Now, we are Imperming the Diablo Star instead of the Ash because we don't know if there's an Ash in the hand. So generally when playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you want to be activating your special summons before your big normal summon. You don't want them to know what you're cooking in your hand. Max C in response to the Poplar special summon. Do we have a nice basic play under Max C as a Snake Eye deck? You don't really. You are gonna generally be relying on your deck having so many hand traps in your hand to just end your turn on. But unfortunately for Snake Eyes, we have none. We could end on this though. This is the best we could do. So draw 2, end on Masquerena, not that bad. If the opponent summons, it will trigger the field spell to summon the Flame Burst from the back row. Imperm on the Masquerena within the standby phase. That's gonna be quite disruptive. As we opened up our main card opener, the Ferris, discard a hero to summon. We're going to equip a Vision Hero into the back row, which, can the Flame Burst summon it? How does that work? If Increase activates, can we chain Flame Burst summon the Increase to our field? Does that work? We're gonna, wait, did we try? I guess it didn't work. Target a monster treated as a continuous spell. This is treated as a continuous trap. That kind of screws things up. This is a continuous trap, not a continuous spell. Damn. Otherwise, we could have done it. Interesting situation. Come forth, increase. Increase is going to be summoning a Vian from the deck. Ash is going to be negating the Ash. Got him. Ash at Poplar has now been stopped. And the Masquerena is negated, so we have 0 disruption. But we're supposedly the best deck, and heroes are about to clap us. Let's go. Hero link off into the Cross Crusader, which could reborn a Destiny hero from the graveyard, which we could then tribute a hero to search our deck for a hero. We have not used up our normal summon yet, as we add a Stratos. Stratos on summon could pop back row, or search our deck for a monster, which the Liquid can't be normal summoned here, so we're going to use it for a Fusion summon instead for its second effect to draw 2. We're going to then use the Devicer to grab an Elemental Hero Neos from the deck, which is going to be for our Infernal Rage play. Sending the Liquid Soldier and the Neos for the Infernal Rage. Infernal Rage will search for a favorite hero card, as the Liquid Soldier also gets that draw play. We're going to draw 2, discard. Come to us, favorite hero, and now draw 1, draw 2, discard the Ash, we don't need you. Tribute ourselves to summon from the extra deck our Sunrise. Sunrise states that if you declare an attack with another hero, or if it's involved in an attack, it will activate to destroy a card in the field. So we have some field wipeage here. Wonder Driver waiting for us to summon to where the arrow's pointing to recycle a polymerization as we summon a Wake Up Elemental Hero using a ton of cards for its summon. Why so many? 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we benefit from using 4? Well, for each material used, it gains 300. That's not that good, but it can make an attack equal to the number of fusion materials used for its fusion summon. We got 4 attacks. Recycling our Miracle Fusion with the effect of the Wonder Driver as we summon the Wake Up Elemental Hero right behind it. As we use the graveyard to fuse into an absolute 0. Absolute 0, wiping out the Masquerena. Wake up your Elemental Hero with attack number 1, destroying, burning for 3,000 damage after the attack, destroying our own Wake Up Elemental Hero to summon from the deck a Shadow Mist to search for a mass change. These plays, what are we doing? We're now going to be making a Dark Law, ensuring that any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Goodbye to the banished Diablo Star, so it does not trigger to resummon itself back in the field. Lethal damage with our direct attack Sunrise for game. Woo! We could have also used the mash change onto the absolute 0 if we played the water mash change here. I'm not sure if we even have room for that to then wipe up the entire field of monsters, but that would have triggered something like Diablo Star and or Flameburge. If sent to the graveyard, it would then resummon. Oh boy, heroes are cooking. You know, like on paper, you think heroes are pretty damn good, having a good turn 1, unless you get max seed. Good turn 2. I do think the deck may struggle from not having enough room to play too many non-engine cards. I say that, but then we've been using impermanence. So what am I even talking about? Maybe the deck is just great. Poplar discard for our Diablo Star. Chainlink blocking the Diablo Star from something like a Gamma. You can't Ash the Diablo Star anyway, so that would not be what you'd protect it from. Setting up from our deck, our Wanted Seeker, which normally would be an original Sinful, which we already had in the hand. Setting the face up Poplar to special summon our Jet Synchron, not in Ash, because we still have our normal summoned Ash play, as we have not used up our normal summon, as you can see right here. Setting up at the field spell, a Flameburst in the back row, add a Poplar trigger, summon itself onto the field here. Add from our deck another original Sinful, send the Link Rebone itself to summon a Flameburst, and the Poplar make a Masquerena, triggering Flameburst to summon 2 level 1 fires from the graveyard. As we then Synchron to a Formula Synchron to draw a card on summon, we're going to link off into a Promethean Princess, summon a fire monster from the graveyard. You're going to now set up a Masquerena into the back row, link off into Sprite Elf. This is the way. If you're not playing Sprite Elf, then you're playing the deck incorrectly. We got Baron to floor, untargetable thanks to our Sprite Elf play here. And you may be thinking, well, the Mad Lad did not end on a Flameburst, so we cannot summon the Masquerena. We still can do the field spell. The field spell states on normal or special. So you're going to tell me that the opponent's not going to normal or special? You would win anyway. So that would then summon the Flameburst, which could then summon the Masquerena. Pretty good turn 1. Let's go. Dead Red Reboot. Discarding our Crossout Designator. Ooh, I mean, really? We held on to Reboot over Crossout Designate, so we could get hit by a card like Ash now if we try to make a Junk Speeder play. That will be triggering our field spell, summoning the Flameburge, as we said. Are we making the Flameburge untargetable as we summon it to where the Sprite Elf is pointing to? Possibly. Yes, we are. We are protected from being targeted. Activating while we're protected, summoning Masquerena from the back row as we can now go into a Apollo USA, that's what I'm thinking. Putting the elf on the higher chain link so that it will summon before the Masquerena then links off with whatever's newly summoned. Link it all off. That's going to be our untargetable triple monster negate. But it's 24 versus 25, so we just swing over it. Very easily outable. But we have the out for the out with a Link Rebo in the grave, which would reduce the Diablo Star to 0 attack within the battle phase. Yeah. We had them good. Let's hop into game number 2. And hopefully we could see how Synchron's made it to the top 16. Well, they're going first, and they have one of the most powerful turn 1 plays in existence. Let's see. Let's go. Wanted Seeker grabbing our Diablo Star. All right, the opponent has no disruption whatsoever, starting this off with the Kashtira Unicorn. That's not Yusei-like. We're going to draw a card from that Synchro, rip a card out of the opponent's hand by banishing itself, to then use Dissipator to reborn the Omega back on the field to rip another card from the opponent's hand. No, Justinian is out. I'm out of here. I am done watching you cook. Draw phase, activating to grab our Diablo Star to play around the Draw and Lockbird, discarding Poplar, triggering Poplar, and the Diablo Star to set up a back row card here. Let's speed this up. Can Yusei break this field? Within the draw phase, doesn't even have to worry about the impermanence due to the elf. Summoning that Masquerena, Rite of Air's Mirror is going to be negated. And you can only activate one Rite of Air's Mirror once per turn, so if you have another copy, it is activatable, and I do think the card is semi-limited, plus you would have the Water Enchantress, which could search for the second copy also, so that could potentially be risky. As we now follow up on the resolution, activate the Masquerena to link during the opponent's turn, making sure the elf is on the higher chain link to then summon the Formula Synchron for a 4-material Apollo USA. Instead of making the Apollo USA untargetable through the Sprite Elf, we're just going to be making it larger, triggering the Flame Burst to reborn the Oak and the Ash. Ash is going to be chain link blocked by Oak, so it does not get ashed. And then we're going to be summoning Poplar. Poplar will be searching. We could have searched for another Poplar to summon that Poplar from the hand for a full field if we wanted to. Now, what are we playing through? Quadrub Monster Negate. Negate number 1, down to 3 more. And we have the Baron to floor with an Omni Negate, so that's 4 disruption plus the impermanence. Scooping Clear Mindo if we go first. All right, unfortunately for Synchron, that is the end of your journey. At least you were able to cook in game 2. I was happy to see it. Thank you, Master Z. Let's hop into another match. Wanted in the draw. Ashing Wanted. I don't know about that. And I do want to state that while it's good to play around Draw and Lockbird, if you have a triple tactics talent, you, in some circumstances, would want to play into the Draw and Lockbird so that you could use the effect to look at their hand and then further cook from there. Now, Poplar would have been stopped from adding this original Sinful if we made the TTT play with our Wanted. We have Linkuriboh is going to be putting the Poplar into the back row. We have the original Sinful, which will summon from the deck an Ash. Now, what would happen here is the Poplar would be able to activate its effect to chain link block and protect the Ash from being negated and destroyed by the Gamma, but the Poplar already activated its Engrave effect, unfortunately. So this is a situation where summoning Linkuriboh actually screwed us up. Had we used the original Sinful on the Poplar before making Linkuriboh, we could have protected the Ash from the Gamma. And, you know, this is hindsight. So, you know, was that the correct play to play around a Gamma? I'm just saying it because I see it. And now we get screwed. We do have TTT, which could draw 2, take control, or look at the hand. We're going to be looking at the hand, returning the Wakashi back into the deck. Now we have the Wanted Sinful, return back in the deck to draw 1. Very nice. And the Sinful Spoils Betrayal is dead. We have Crossout Designator, which is pretty much going to be dead. The 1-card combo deck, Super Heavy Samurai, with like up to 12 different 1-card combos, did not draw into a 1-card for the combo. And also, the other 1-card combo deck did not draw their 1-card combos. Again, Super Heavy Samurai not drawing one of their many 1-card combos into Lick Sharon, also not drawing one of their many 1-card combos. But we have Hida. Hida could reborn the Ash, which we could then make Promethean Princess, to then reborn from our graveyard something will DD Crow. Ooh, we have Crossout Designate to negate that Maxi. You will not be drawing per special summon. Now, the Promethean Princess is non-target special summon. So while it's good to banish the Ash, the Poplar will then be summoned, searching for an original Sinful, which will then... Wait, we didn't do it? I guess we're just like, why even bother? The Poplar will search for original. Original will then summon an Ash from the deck. You know, that's how it do. We are going to be activating the field spell, setting up the Flame Burge. Ash is going to send the Poplar, summoning an Oak. Oak is going to be reborning the Poplar. Poplar is going to set into the back row the Ash. Is DD Crow really even that good against Snake Eyes? I don't think so. And we have... Wait, not enough for lethal damage. We're done cooking. Sure. Okay, we didn't use the other effect of Oak to try to push for lethal. This is interesting. Okay. We didn't want to trigger the Flame Burge. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the ability to... Wait, we didn't even Promethean. We did. I'm sorry for saying that. On special summon, we'll pop the special summon, and if you summon at all, if you breathe, we'll trigger the field spell to summon a Flame Burge from the back row. Let's go. And we're still bricked. You have to believe me that the deck has so many one-card combos. Super Heavy Samurai. Motorbike, Piercer, Wakashi. And what else do we have here? We have Wagon. These are all one-card full combo plays. The full one-turn kill or full turn one setup from all of these one cards. Wakashi versus Nibiru. And we do have Monster Reborn in our main deck for the mirror match, stealing the opponent's Promethean Princess. So we are on summon number 2, summon number 3. Soul Piercer, when sent to the graveyard, is going to be searching our deck. We have on summon, we have to use the Moonlit Chill right then and there to negate. We cannot wait for the resolution to negate it or its activation. We have Motorbike discarding to grab a Peacemaker. Peacemaker is going to be summoning number 4, number 5. So we're going to summon a Scales, and we're going to be summoning the Piercer. So when do we Nibiru? We have the Excel Star to Synchro. So this is a troubling situation of when you should Nibiru. If you Nibiru right now, it would be safest. If you wait to Nibiru for the level 2 tuner to be on the field, the Excel Star to Synchro could chain to the Nibiru to summon a Baron to floor only if they're playing Stardust. And a lot of people have taken Stardust out. We don't have Stardust, so we don't have that play, but we don't know that you have that play or not. So are we taking the risk of them having that play? This is when we could chain Nibiru. Oh, if we had Stardust, you'd get punished. Big time. So we're waiting for the tuner, which if we had Stardust, we could chain to the Nibiru to make that Baron to floor. But I guess we're feeling safe with the Stardust not really being in the extra deck of many Super Heavy Samurai players. Was that correct? Let's see, Stardust Dragon on the analytics here. It is used in, it's almost 50-50. 41% chance where it would have been in the extra deck, which a Baron to floor unaffected by Nibiru would be on the field here. Well, we took it. We took that risk. And we're just going to be making a Baguska instead of further cooking. All monsters are forced into defense besides Lynx, of course. And if you're in defense, you are negated. We have the Snake Eye Temple field spell, setting up a Flame Burge, and then send to the graveyard to summon a Diablo Star. Flame Burge would only trigger if we have 2 level 1 fires in the graveyard to summon. As we now make an IP Masquerena. What are we doing with these plays? This is kind of weird. We're going to be attempting to reborn our Flame Burge, which will get DD Crowed in response to that Monster Reborn. Is Monster Reborn rightfully limited to 1? Could the Monster Reborn get unlimited or even semi-limited? We're going to be sending the field spell for the effect of the original Sinful as our final last-ditch effort play. To summon from the deck our Ash, all under Max C and against a Baguska, so we didn't even bother activating the Ash. Semi-limit Monster Reborn, please. We have Promethean Princess, not negated by the Baguska, but we're going to take it out before we reborn from the graveyard our Ash, which was not activated yet, which DD Crow again will banish another card, which the Promethean is a non-target special summon, so we'll special summon something else instead. Or wait, there was nothing else to summon? That was our only fire. Damn. Okay. The Flame Burge was banished, and so is the Ash. Okay. And the Promethean Princess while on the field is not disruption. It's not going to turn into disruption. It's nothing. So let's do our full Wombo combo. That is our second copy of Scarecrow, I believe. Yes, it is, which is correct to be playing too. Now we are Pendulum Summoning Shokaning into the Masuwaru. We are going to be using Super Heavy Samurai itself for our lethal play. The Masuwaru has the ability to double attack. And we have the Therion King Regulus for the Omni Negate. Attack number 1, 4K to the face. And with the follow-up, lethal damage with the Nibiru token for game. The Masuwaru in a simplified game state is an absolute monster. Every time you try to destroy it, it could destroy another Super Heavy Samurai card instead. So it's very difficult to deal with it. And if you activate a spell or trap card, even the effective one, not the activation of one, the card that is, it will activate to draw up to 3 cards. So if they already have hand traps in their hand, they could chain all their hand traps to the activation to ensure they get that maximum draw 3. It's disgusting. Draw phase, Wanted Seeker searching to play around the Duel and Lockbird. Let's go. We have multiple 1-card combo plays here. Interesting. So we are solely reliant on the field spell to be triggered off of a normal or special to summon the Flameburst, which will then summon the Masquerena, which will then link with the Flameburst to summon a level 1, which will then be used for a Link Karibo to protect our tiny Apollo USA with just double Monster Negate. Let's go. Are we drawing another hand trap? Not yet. We're not using it yet. Motorbike, attempt to search. Apollo USA using one of its 2 Monster Negates. Negate. DD Crow's not going to be too effective here. We got the Samurai Wagon triggering the field spell, summoning our Flame Burge, also drawing with the Heat Soul. Playing around impermanence in many ways here. Not drawing into a hand trap. We still have Ash and Ghost Spell. Ash will be if you try to interact with the deck. Bell will be if you try to interact with the graveyard. Attacking while in defense. What the heck was that? Ash is going to be negating the wagon, taking out the Apollo. So we did not want to use Flameburst, Reborn Masquerena, make the Link Karibo to protect our 1 negate Apollo. Okay, sure. Come forth and summon. I mean, wagon attacking while in defense. Rarely you get to see that funny play. It's quite large at 1800D. Push that Mad Lad into the back row here, summoning a Diablo Star by discarding a card, equip into the back row, trigger the Poplar. Let's speed this up. DD Crow banishing the target of the Poplar that wanted to go into the back row. Not too big of a disruption here. And just like that, we have over 8,000 damage with a ton of hand traps, and I'm sure we would have even been drawing more with the Heat Soul for game. Interesting stuff. Thank you to both of you. Let's hop into another duel. Are you ready? Why is Infernoble in the top 16 and they have to play against Pendulum? Are you kidding me? What is going on? A ton of Infernoble players in today's tournament, and I love it. Let's get to it. TTK, begin. Not being hit with the draw phase max C, so we will be playing into the TTT. Activating the Valent Worlds to play around Impermanence here. And just like that, we're playing under that max C. Do we make simple plays under Maxi, or do we just take a gander at the... No, we're drawing. We're drawing. We're going for the plays. No, we're ending our turn. Nothing. No disruption. Open field. You better win this. Are we... Wait, we're under shifter? Oh my gosh. I didn't see this. Where did that shifter come from? Huh. What the hell? Wait, what was I looking at when shifter got whipped out? Did we shifter turn 1? When did we shifter? Oh my gosh, we shifted in response to our field spell. I did not see that. Okay, that kind of screwed things up. Yeah, all right, yep, that makes sense. Like, why is Infernoble undercooking here? Well, so much for my excitement of Infernoble fully popping off. We just have an Apollo USA. Call by the Grave's not going to be too effective against Pendulums being sent to the extra deck instead of the graveyard. We're still going to use Called by. Oh, Did we try to call by the Black Fang being activated after being destroyed? Unfortunately, we can't call by the grave face-up cards from the extra deck. That would be the errata version of called by, which I'm sure they would do. Let's get Pendulum Summoning our entire hand onto the field, plus 1 card from the extra deck. Triggering Harmonizing. We had nothing to Chainlink block it, as the Apollo now negates. All right. As we now further synchro this off into Ignister Prominence. And then the Apollo is also reduced. So the Apollo lost a negate here. The Ignister Prominence could shuffle a card in the field back into the deck. I mean, Pendulums are just going to be, it's just Scoop is the only option. Just Scoop. Dimension Shifter screwed us. And what the main takeaway from that duel is, if Dimension Shifter can completely clap a deck, consider playing Kashtira. Make your turn 1 a Rise Heart, which a lot of people have been doing to also counter a deck like Snake Eyes. And you could just auto-win from cards being banished instead of being sent to the grave. Wanted in the draw phase, which you could set up your duel settings to have your toggle on at the start of every duel. Sending the Angelica Ring to summon our Diablo Star. Diablo Star setting up into the back row our Original Sin, which will summon a level 1 fire from the deck. Baron de Fleur is here. Ogier equipping onto the Emperor Charles the Great as we now end our turn, equipping into the back row our Angelic Ring. So we have Spell and Trap card negate, plus a resolved spell will be negated, plus we could pop any card in the fields, non-target, plus we have a Baron de Fleur on a negate, about 4 disruptions. Can we break it? Probably not. Oh, that sucks. That's so bad. Oh my gosh. This negates the effect, and which means that did nothing. Oh my gosh. And if we were to negate the activation and destroy it, it would have then activated in the extra deck to pop a card. So Angelic Ring just got completely nullified, and it did nothing. Nothing. It's garbage. We're gonna send our back row Ogier to negate the Valent World field spell here. So we already lost our spell negate, and we used up our other spell and trap card negate. We have our non-target pop being triggered with the Emperor Charles, taking out the Performapal, which did not activate on summon because it didn't want to get negated and destroyed by the Baron de Fleur. Cross out, designate, and we're scooping. We play TTT, negate your TTT, and despite the poison nullifying the Angelic Ring, we were still not able to play through the field. Very well done, 1-1. Got the Valent field spells turning off the use of Impermanence, which we don't even have, so we don't care. Yeah, are y'all like wondering why I'm trying to cast what the plays are that are happening, and I guess a Flying Dino gave up? We're not like using any of our cards? What happened? Okay, anyway. Now we're maxing. Now I got you. We wanted to wait for them to not make a Baguska, I guess, right? We played around Baguska. Tell me we played around Baguska. Yeah. I think we wanted them to commit to Time Star to play around Baguska. Does that make sense? That's the only sense I can make out of us holding on to Max C. Okay, let's go. Now we can't make easy Baguska, but we make easy Apollo USA, which we could argue is not as bad as Baguska. Add back. All right, and we just have to play through Triple Monster Negate instead of Baguska. Looking at the hand, return a card back. Dolphin! An instance where returning Dolphin back in the deck is optimal, that is crazy. Now, how do we play through this field? We normal summon Ricardetto, which has no monster in the graveyard to reborn. We equip a Cursed Bamboo, then end our turn because we have no play whatsoever. Even if we had Dolphin, we still had no play. So Dolphin, Ricardetto, just dead. Damn. You know? That's how it be. That's how it be. Yeah, there's nothing we could do. I'm just trying to think. Anything we could do? Nope, nothing. All right. Lethal damage. Pendulums eliminating Infernoble from the tournament. But you were still able to see Infernoble cook during the second duel. That was good to see, yes. And I think we also had a better Infernoble showcase of the combos. Not that Flying Dino played this poorly. He played it very well, I think so. But we saw more Infernoble plays, which will be in another video outside of the top 16. So look out for that. Oh gosh, the end of the top 16. We have Branded Despia versus Branded Despia. Come forth, they'd summon from the deck. Blazing Cartesia. Very well done. So the Triforce combo is Mirror Jade, Cartesia, and Quem. 1 dragon, 2 girls, which will result in a non-target banish, which you then use the Cartesia to fuse with the Mirror Jade into something like a Dragostapelia if you have another dark monster to use it with. That'll be a monster negate, which will trigger the Quem to reborn the Mirror Jade from the graveyard for another non-target monster banish again. So triple disruption from the 3 cards, and in addition to all the other cards we have, let's go. Alubur on summon, grabbing our Branded Fusion. We can use, in response to the Branded Fusion, we're going to copy our own Branded Fusion, which you cannot ash the effect of copying the effect of an ashable effect. Does that make sense? As we're now summoning an Albion. Albion could steal the opponent's Albaz from the graveyard, putting it onto our field. Thus, something like the Albion or the Lubellion could not fuse with the Albaz that we stole from their grave as we summon it to our field. Are we doing that? Yes, we are. Give me your Albaz. Wow. Very nicely done. And then after disrupting their effect of summoning Mirror Jade, you then use the Albaz you stole to fuse with the opponent's field if you want to, which it looks like we have not chose to activate it yet. We're going to the Borreload, triggering the Gangrenol. We are, in fact, after stealing their Albaz, disrupting the Mirror Jade summon, we're now going to fuse using the Albaz we stole. They're going to chain Super Poly, likely fusing with the Albaz that was stolen, stopping the fusion, the stolen fusion, to then make our own Mirror Jade. So we were able to make Mirror Jade anyway. Now, the Quem could trigger to reborn the Mirror Jade that was just sent to the grave through the effect of Super Polymerization. Mirror Jade also activating to wipe out the field during the end phase. Reborn, Mirror Jade non-target monster banished before the opposing Mirror Jade is summoned. Okay. Banishing the untargetable Albion Sanctifier Dragon. And now we have our non-target monster banish ready to be used. And we're using it right on summon, sending in Albion to non-target banish, as the Borreload Furious is going to be forcing the activation of the Cartesia to fusion summon into a Dragostapelia. Okay. Which the banishment could reborn the Mirror Jade again, making the Mirror Jade again activatable this turn. Which we're not using it in response to the attack of the Mirror Jade to protect our Dragostapelia. We're waiting. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Are we end phasing the banishment? First, the Albion's going to be triggering, setting up a banishment of their own. Triggering the Titanclad to summon a Quem from the deck. Quem on summon, send from the deck to the graveyard. Triggering the Branded High Spirits to add from the grave back to the hand. When we banish it now, after all the trigger effects are done, Mirror Jade is going to be summoned and we can fuse with the opponent's field. No, we did not. We're going to be triggering the effect of the Albion searching for the Branded White because we're wiping out the fields with the effect of our Mirror Jade, which also then wipes out our Mirror Jade. Adding the Cartesia and the graveyard back to our hand. Why did we... So we used banishment at the wrong time. Yeah. We thought they were done, but we should have waited for our Mirror Jade to wipe out their Mirror Jade, and then their Mirror Jade to resolve without effect, and then we should have waited. We actually fired it off too early. All right. Branded in white, banishing the Albaz and the Coritis to make another Mirror Jade. It's just back and forth. Mirror Jade, Mirror Jade, Mirror Jade. Now, we have our own banishment to reborn from our graveyard in Alubur to then fuse with the opposing Mirror Jade to make our Coritis. Okay. Caritas can reduce the opposing non-fusioned field to 0 attack, triggering the Caritas being destroyed by the fusion summoned Mirror Jade being sent to the graveyard to summon a Quem from the deck, sending from the deck to the grave a Cartesia, recycling herself in the grave back to the hand as the Retribution then copies the Branded Fusion to go back to the hand. Not really copy, but add to our hand. Very nice. Now, it's important to note that the Fusion Duplication can be used on your opponent's Branded Fusion to banish it from the grave, but we instead wanted to make a Sanctifier to counter their Branded Fusion instead of waiting for the resolution to then copy and banish the opposing Branded Fusion, which a kit could recycle a Branded Fusion so it's not completely removed from the duel. Quem being triggered from a card, leaving the extra deck to reborn our in-grave Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade should not be recycled this often. I'm gonna pause this to state that Mirror Jade, especially the Mirror Jade match, is generally banished because an opposing Mirror Jade will banish your Mirror Jade, and if you fuse with it with Branded Red, it's banished. So that's a way to trigger Quem, but then you can't reborn the Mirror Jade. And the Branded Banishment banishes the Mirror Jade if you use it with the Branded Banishment. So it's not that easy to keep on getting it in the graveyard, then keep on reborning it with cards like Quem. So this is just wild. 10,000 damage exactly. We have Super Polymerization fusing with the opposing Mirror Jade and Albion to make our own Mood Dragon into defense. Okay, Sanctifier, wiping it out. We did protect ourselves successfully from lethal damage, but with Quem on the field and Mirror Jade in the grave, that means it's about to be reborn again. Brandon High Spirit to add back to an end phase. I'm thinking the timer's gotta be low from either player here. What is going on? The Nadir Servant will lock us out of being able to use our extra deck for the rest of this turn. Adding a Quem from the graveyard back, because you moved the card from the extra deck. Quem reborn, Mirror Jade. You Mirror Jaden, Mirror Jaden. Quem on summon, send in Albion. Albion send from the deck to the grave and Branded Opening to protect ourselves from being destroyed by card effect. Special summoning Cartesia, we can't use it to fusion summon. We're gonna steal the opponent's Albaz to then on summon discard to fuse with the opposing field. Mood Dragon activating to declare light to make our light monsters untargetable, which doesn't really matter. Mirror Jade's gonna say no, I'm gonna banish a card off the field, goodbye to the Quem. As we then fuse with the Cartesia, making our very own Gangrenol on summon, send a level 6 or higher from the deck or extra deck to the grave. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of here. And it's important to note that the Mirror Jade being non-fusion summoned, being special summoned, there's a difference. It does not trigger its effect to wipe out the field during the end phase if it was not fusion summoned. So Quem reborning, it does not get to wipe the field when it leaves. We have fusion deployment, special summoning a Cartesia from the deck here. Will the Veiler negate? Yes, it will. Negating the fusion summon play of adding Branded Fusion to your hand. So you fuse with the Serenir. Serenir would then send a Branded Fusion or the Retribution, and then Retribution with the Gangrenol sending an Albion would add that Branded Fusion. It just ends up into a Branded Fusion being in your hand. Magna Hut is banishing from our own graveyard our Effect Veiler in response to the Serenir trying to summon itself onto the field. We're going to draw on Lockbird on you adding a card. You cannot draw, but you can take control of my Huh? What was that? Why, huh? What were you, like, trying to do? We're trying to Anaconda it, but then we changed our mind? And, so this is what happened. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. And I think a lot of people would forget that, as we did attempt to make an Anaconda with their Magna Hut, and that's really what happened. In the TCG, I think it like 90% chance would have worked, but not here. All right. We are Aluburin, grabbing our Branded Fusion. We have no disruption besides the Serenir being able to banish an opposing Albaz if we go for the Albion over a Lubellian line. And we know that Serenir is in the hand, so we should probably play around it. The Albion Sanctifier is also incredibly disruptive to that line. We have Rinbrum. Okay, if you Sanctifier in response to our Branded Fusion, we make a Rinbrum which will negate your Albion, then spin it back into the extra deck non-targeting. Okay, we're gonna spin you back. We don't even have to spin you back. So what's interesting here is I think we spin back our Magna Hut or our Alubur, and then we take control of Sanctifier, then we win, right? Do we take control of it? Yoink it. We spin back nothing. We don't even want to spin back. 9,800 damage, mate. So you would think the Magna Hut stops Serenir from being summoned if you were to return it back to the hand, but that's incorrect. It doesn't, because then there would be nothing on the field to make the Magna Hut a quick effect to stop the Serenir from being summoned. All right, Serenir sending from the deck to the grave, our Retribution, which will be grabbing back our Branded Fusion if we can get into the graveyard. Oh no, we have to give back Albion. Jeez. We YOLO'd our one-turn kill play. It looks like the correct play was Rinbrum to actually spin back the Sanctifier. And the Serenir was public knowledge. We knew it was there. We just forgot? We thought we had lethal damage? I guess we just thought. Rinbrum in the grave can now be used with an Albaz that we do not have. Oh boy. It looks like this may be it. It is main phase 2, so we obviously can't lose right here, right now. But let's get to it. We're making the Triforce combo. Remember, Quem, Cartesia, and Mirror Jade is the way. Or we're making a Borreload Furious instead. Sure, okay. Borreload Furious is also pretty cool. Using with the Albion to make a Gangrenol. Gangrenol send a level 6 or higher from the extra deck or deck to the grave, which will be our Titanclad. Borreload pop in the Gangrenol and the opposing Albur to then end our turn. Recycle our cards back. Grab back Cartesia. Add an Albaz from the deck to the hand. Set up with a Branded Banishment, and okay, let's go. Branded Banishment, oh, we're scooping. Scoop it up. Does not even want to bother playing through that. Being able to steal a card from either player's grave, trigger an Albaz with the Sanctifier Dragon, being able to fuse the opponent's field. There was a lot of disruption through that, even with the Banishment. Let's hop into game 3. You want new Makonko cards? Okay, that's also not coming. So, generally, if I tell you something's not coming, that means I know when it's coming. So the Poplar situation was I didn't know when it was coming. So that was a misfire. But some things I know when they're coming, and that's when I could confidently say they're not coming. Got some big plays. We've got Albaz in the grave, which could be summoned onto the field through the effect of the Albion Sanctifier to fuse the opposing fields. Serenir banishing the Albion here. Mirror Jade non-target monster banish, getting rid of the Serenir before the Lubellion tributes it. Thrusting a talent from our deck to our hand. Activatable to take control of a monster. So we are going... This is interesting. Albaz summons on our field. We resolve the talents, and then the Albaz is activatable right then and there, but we could chain the stolen Mirror Jade to banish the Albaz, thus you don't get to fuse. Okay. Yep. Veiler, take Mirror Jade. Uh-huh. No, we took Albion instead. That's interesting. Allowing them to fuse with the Albaz and the Veiler into an Albion, triggering the Branded Lost. We can't chain to this. That's it. Like, we can't steal the Albaz with the Sanctifier because we're under the effect of Branded Lost being able to even chain to the Fusion Summon. We can't do anything. Now, the Furious targets, and the Albion cannot be targeted. Sanctifier is protected from the Borreload. We have Mercurier being banished with the Gold Sark, and we're going to negate Mercurier with Mercurier from adding an Albaz monster from the deck, which could have been a Quem if we wanted to normal summon that, or an Albion. Sanctifier suiciding into the Borreload Furious to then follow up Albaz, fuse with the opposing field. We're going to chain Branded Banishment to Reborn from the grave to then fuse with the Albaz activating, thus turning off the ability to fuse with our fields. No Fusion Summon. We have Titanclad, which is unaffected from extra deck monsters for this turn. Not really ever too relevant. We have Nadir Servant sending Garura to draw a card. We have Maximus banishing Garura to then send 2 more cards from the extra deck to the grave, but it won't because we're going to pop it with our Borreload Furious. Cartesia recycling during the end phase. Let's get to it. I wasn't sure if I stole Mirror Jade if it was activatable or not. So why wouldn't it be activatable? If you can only control one Mirror Jade, once returned, send. So you take control. Were you not sure because of Branded lost? Maybe you were wondering that. So you are Chainlink 1 TTT. They are Chainlink 2 summon. So it wasn't a fusion summon. The Albaz, you could still respond to the Albaz attempting to fuse. So the loss is not doing anything. And then, you know, your Mirror Jade, there should be nothing stopping it, right? There's nothing stopping it. It can't? Why can't? It already activated? Oh, did this one already activate? Did it already activate? Was it already under the soft per 2 turns, which is tied to the card? So I do want to investigate that real quick. What did we use the Mirror Jade on? So I must have missed that. Was that used? We TTT'd. Oh, you're right. You are 100% right. I'm so wrong on that. It did banish the Serenir, which I did publicly exclaim, and yeah, that escaped my thought of, yeah. So a soft per turn or soft per 2 turns like the Mirror Jade, it's tied to the card. Hard once per turn is tied to the player. So Darth, you're correct. I'm a fool. All right. Cartesia being triggered during the end phase. We're cycling during the end phase back to our hand. We have Titan Clad summoning a Quem from the deck, triggering the Gangrenol to send, summon, I should say, a Quiritis possibly, or a Quem of our own. Sending a Retribution. We have our own Quem. Quem send from the deck to the grave. Retribution, recycle our Branded Fusion in the grave back to our hand. Come to me. Yup. So, for example, Quem right here says you can only use each effective Quem. The U is tied to Darth. Darth can only activate it. So if you take control of the Quem, you could then use the effects of Quem because only Darth was the one that was locked out of it. But this saying once per turn. So let's read this. It says, I just want to double check so you all understand this fully. Where's the effect? You can control. So once per turn, tied to the card, and you being tied to the player being you. All right. Very good. Now we have Borreload Furious popping double Quem. Goodbye to our Quem. We have to pop our own monster, then pop any other card in the field. Branded Fusion here on Summon. We are under the protection of the Branded Lost. There's nothing that you could activate from the hand, grave, or field in response to this. And just like that, Nihilus is going to be winning the duel. The Lubellion, if it activates its effective fusion summon, would not be able to attack. Thus, we're not going to even bother activating it. Perfect 10,000 damage, lethal. Good job to both players. I think a lot of people are sick of watching Branded, but I still enjoy watching it. It is very much exciting for me still. Thank you very much for watching the top 16 video. If you want to watch the top 8 grand finale, it will be in the video being released tomorrow, where it's going to start off with Heroes versus the best deck. Are you ready? Thank you very much. See you in the next video.